Leonard McNally, 1752–1820, sometimes spelled MacNally or MacNally, was a Dublin barrister, playwright, lyricist, founding member of the United Irishmen and spy for the British government within Irish Republican circles. He was a successful lawyer in late 18th and early 19th century Dublin, and wrote a law book that was crucial in the development of the beyond reasonable doubt standard in criminal trials. However, during his time, he was best known for his popular comic operas and plays, together with his most enduring work, the romantic song, The Lass of Richmond Hill. He is now mainly remembered as a very important informer for the British government within the Irish Revolutionary Society, the United Irishmen, and played a major role in the defeat of the Irish Rebellion of 1798. In return for payments from the government, MacNally would betray his United Irishman colleagues to the authorities and then, as defense counsel at their trial, secretly collaborate with the prosecution to secure a conviction. His notable Republican clients included Napper Tandy, Wolfe Tone, Robert Emmet and Lord Edward FitzGerald. Early life. MacNally was born in Dublin in 1752, the son of William McNally, a grocer. MacNally was born into a Roman Catholic family, but at some point in the 1760s he converted to the Church of Ireland. He was entirely self-educated, and he initially became a grocer like his father. However, in 1774 he went to London to study law at the Middle Temple but returned to Dublin to be called to the Irish bar in 1776. After returning to London in the late 1770s he qualified as a barrister in England as well. In 1783, he practiced for a short time in London, and, while there, supplemented his income by writing plays and editing the public ledger, Barrister and Radical. Returning to Ireland, he developed a successful career as a barrister in Dublin. He soon became involved in radical politics, having already in 1782 published a pamphlet in support of the Irish cause. He became Dublin's leading radical lawyer of the day. In 1792, he represented Napper Tandy, a radical member of the Irish Parliament, in a legal dispute over parliamentary privilege. In the early 1790s, MacNally became a founder member of the United Irishmen, a clandestine society which soon developed into a revolutionary Irish Republican organization. He ranked high in its leadership and acted as the organization's chief lawyer, representing many United Irishmen in court. This included defending Wolfe Tone and Robert Emmet, the leaders of the 1798 and 1803 rebellions respectively, at their trials for treason. In 1793, MacNally was wounded in a duel with Sir Jonah Barrington, who had insulted the United Irishmen. Barrington subsequently described MacNally as a good-natured, hospitable, talented and dirty fellow, informer and government agent. After his death in 1820, it emerged that he had for many years been an informant for the government, and one of the most successful British spies in Irish Republican circles that there has ever been. When, in 1794, a United Irishman plot to seek aid from revolutionary France was uncovered by the British government, MacNally turned informer to save himself, although, subsequently, he also received payment for his services. MacNally was paid an annual pension in respect of his work as an informer of £300 a year, from 1794 until his death in 1820. From 1794, MacNally systematically informed on his United Irishman colleagues, who often gathered at his house for meetings. It was MacNally that betrayed Lord Edward FitzGerald, one of the leaders of the 1798 rebellion, as well as Robert Emmet in 1803. A significant factor in the failure of the 1798 rebellion was the excellent intelligence provided to the government by its agents. MacNally was considered to be one of the most damaging informers. The United Irishmen represented by MacNally at their trials were invariably convicted, and MacNally was paid by the Crown for passing the secrets of their defense to the prosecution. During the trial of Emmet, MacNally provided details of the defense's strategy to the Crown and conducted his client's case in a way that would assist the prosecution. For example, 3 days before the trial he assured the authorities that Emmet does not intend to call a single witness, nor to trouble any witness for the Crown with a cross-examination. Unless they misrepresent facts, he will not controvert the charge by calling a single witness. For his assistance to the prosecution in Emmet's case, he was paid a bonus of £200 on top of his pension, half of which was paid 5 days before the trial. After MacNally's death, his activities as a government agent became generally known when his heir attempted to continue to collect his pension of £300 per year. He is still remembered with opprobrium by Irish nationalists. In 1997, the Sinn Féin newspaper, and for blacked in an article on MacNally, described him as undoubtedly one of the most treacherous informers of Irish history. Playwright, lyricist and legal author, MacNally was a successful dramatist and wrote a number of well-constructed but derivative comedies, as well as comic operas. His first dramatic work was The Ruling Passion, a comic opera written in 1771, and he is known to have authored at least 12 plays between 1779 and 1796, as well as other comic operas. His works include The Apotheosis of Punch, 1779, a satire on the Irish playwright Sheridan; Tristram Shandy, 1783, which was an adaptation of Laurence Sterne's novel Robin Hood, 1784, Fashionable Levities, 1785, Richard Coeur de Lion, 1786, In Critic Upon Critic, 1788. He also wrote a number of songs and operettas for Covent Garden. One of his songs, Sweet Lass of Richmond Hill, became very well known and popular following its first public performance at Vauxhall Gardens in London in 1789. It was said to be a favourite of George III and popularised the romantic metaphor, a rose without a thorn, a phrase which MacNally had used in the song. In 1802, MacNally published what became a much-used book on the law of evidence, The Rules of Evidence on Pleas of the Crown. The text played a crucial role in defining and publicising the beyond reasonable doubt standard for criminal trials. Personal life and family. MacNally married Frances Lanson, the daughter of William Lanson, also spelt Jansen, a solicitor, in 1787 in London, having eloped because William Lanson disapproved of MacNally. The Lanson family owned a property, Hill House, in Richmond, Yorkshire, and Frances was the subject of MacNally's song, Sweet Lass of Richmond Hill. Frances died aged 29 in childbirth in Dublin in 1795, and MacNally remarried in 1800 Louisa Edgeworth, the daughter of a clergyman from County Longford. MacNally is widely reported to have died on 13 February 1820. However, a son, with whom he shared the same name and profession, was actually the one who died on that date. His son was buried at Donnybrook, Dublin on 17 February 1820. MacNally sent a letter on 6 March 1820 from 20 Cuff Street, Dublin, to the proprietor of Saunders Newsletter, seeking damages for the severe injury caused by the circulation of his death. MacNally died in June 1820 and was buried in Donnybrook, Dublin on 8 June 1820. Although he had been a Protestant all his life, he sought absolution from a Roman Catholic priest on his deathbed. MacNally left one daughter. Bibliography. The most extensive modern study on MacNally is